Live joining us is guest co-host Erin Elmore. She'll be with us all week. We're very lucky to have you here. Today's a really important day, so let's get started. Would you say that this system currently right now is designed to keep people of color down?
I don't even feel comfortable answering that question. I think there's
what could the solution be then? Because I want us to have an honest discourse. We're live. That's what DBL
this is about. This is about listening to these stories and understanding them. You know, I have my own statements that I was going to make about why Martin Luther King is important to me, and I just had a conversation before I got on the air, and I said, I don't see color.
Right.
And someone that has biracial children just said to me, because you don't have to. I don't have biracial children. And that was a wake-up call even to me.
But Erin,
so these conversations are so important.
I know, but I mean,
I'm trying to understand.
But I mean, I think that that's
based upon the color of their skin, and just like Martin Luther King Jr. said, by the content of their character. And that is the way that all of America should be. And that's why I love hearing these stories.
Right.
And your conversations are so important to me. And the more you guys speak about your unique opportunities, I think the better our country and the world will be.
I just worry that this will just be a conversation we have for a day.
Conversations, Al, having these conversations uncomfortable, just the discourse alone.
They're not uncomfortable for me. This is my life.
Well, the problem is we keep forcing gun control, and this is another example of why gun control is not going to work. She would have never popped up on any radar.
Wouldn't this be an example of why we need gun control?
What are you going to tell me how that's going to work? Because we don't like our YouTube videos. That's very subjective. We have to be very careful. Moreover, here's why we have problems with gun control. Our government has failed us time and time again in these cases. Why are we handing them more power? For example, in Sutherland Springs, Texas, the church shooter, he obtained a gun legally because the government, the military, forgot to report his criminal conviction.
But that would go under gun reform. That would be more
you want to put more power in the hands of the people that are incompetent.
We need more.
They keep failing us and failing us.
But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't be doing more.
We need them to succeed, and they're failing us.
But that doesn't mean that we give up.
They failed us in Florida, too.
We need to be doing more.
I just look at it as like she was posting her videos on YouTube, which means YouTube was her employer.
Mental health issue, then.
Are you telling me that there's not people that have mental health issues in London?
Yeah, we have the same numbers of mental health than other developed nations. The exact same numbers of people that are affected with mental health issues.
I'm not going to start with the statistics and the fact checking, and we can get.
I know for a fact that
I believe you.
I'm a victim of mental health. I wasn't
finishing my point, and I'm very sorry. But what I was going to say is that when guns were outlawed in the United Kingdom, the year I think basically the crime it didn't do anything to change crime statistics.
We could talk more about it. We've got to go. Stay tuned to the break. We'll continue the conversation. We'll be right back.
Just cared about it in the days of Martin Luther King. It shows just how powerful he was.
Well, yes, and don't sleep on the fact that African American or black celebrities, they feel the brunt of what everyday black people feel too. They're not.
And Jeff Schroeder, Ebony Steele, and our special guest co-host today, Erin Elmore, and Erin's going to be with us all week. We're so lucky to have you here.
I'm enjoying it. It's so fun.
Yeah, we love your opinions. All day today, legal system.
Yes.
You're an attorney. What do you think should happen to these teenagers?
I think since our Parkland shooting, we've seen, it was very recently, we've seen a huge uptick in prosecutions because of this. I think it was a real wake-up call. Several states, Texas, Georgia, are prosecuting kids. It depends on the age of the child, usually. If they're 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 making threats, the same thing is going to happen if they're 16, 17, 18. They are facing jail time as adults. I think it's depending upon the nature of the threats that they're making. But honestly, kids under the age of 18 are facing serious jail time for making threats.
Do you think that kids should face jail time for making threats?
I don't, as you said, because parents aren't getting prosecuted for the crimes of their children. That's not how American society works.
But what I would say, if you see your kid, God forbid, lighting some animal on fire or something.
That's a sign of
okay, I don't mean to get that descriptive. Okay. But as a parent, you need to turn your kid in or give him mental health.
Yes. If parents aren't going to jail for the crimes.
We're not talking about if,
we're not talking
we're not talking about if they should. We're talking about if they don't. What should the penalty be?
Well, here's
there isn't going to be.
I'm sorry, Sammy. Go ahead.
No. I have a real strong opinion at this moment.
Today, jury selection came to a brief halt in the bill.
And really quickly, before the next story.
So you said these kids shouldn't go to jail. What if a kid is 16 years old and he starts stealing things? What if a 16-year-old commits arson? Where are they going?
No,
you can't pick and choose your crimes to go to jail.
They do need to have consequences, and perhaps that is jail. I just wish that our jail facilities, our systems, focus more on rehab than just doing the time. To talk about what inspired her to run for office.
That for me, the election of Donald Trump was a real wake-up call, and
as
Cynthia Nixon.
Something to drink.
I got it.
Okay, girl. No, go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. I was getting all excited. So 8 months ago, when Donald Trump was elected, I don't want a celebrity being president.
Who said that? Like
Everybody and their mother and their cousin and their sister and their brother and their...
I don't talk like that.
Okay. I don't want any celebrity to be president.
Okay.
Hey, y'all, I don't want
There's been a
any...
lot of celebrities that were Ronald
Reagan, that was it.
Jesse
But
Ventura.
People were criticizing it, and you know it, a reality star president. Now we're having someone from a show called Sex in the City running for office. I just see it as a little bit of liberal
No, I
hypocrisy.
agree with
better if it was the show Sex in the White House.
No, only under JFK there was sex going on in the White House.
I don't know.
But I agree with you in the sense
It's
that
phony baloney.
I didn't want President Trump becoming part of office. I don't want Cynthia Nixon. I want the people that have been pushing policy for decades
That know what they're doing.
That know what they're doing.
And we're saying that's what we want. That's what we want. But like we as voters, we have to educate ourselves about the candidates. And
Tonight, that's compared to 25 million who watched the premiere, and those numbers are sure to grow as delayed viewing numbers came in.
That the success of politics being talked about was going to be this successful.
Right.
Now, I was going online before the show and researching. This one wasn't about politics. This one wasn't about politics. You know why people are saying that? They don't want to see a conservative show succeed. They don't. This isn't about politics because it is about politics. They just want to.
But yesterday's episode, last night's
was
episode,
still about politics.
They didn't address politics.
Being politically correct in a family that has sort of differences in opinion in terms of family discord, Democrats.
I want to see more of it, though. I actually want to see more.
I wouldn't label myself a conservative, and I said the first episode was well written and hilarious, and I think that was the major thing. I think we can always have conservative shows.
If it's entertaining,
We
it's
just don't.
entertaining.
That's it. Yeah.
We just don't have conservative
Well,
shows.
I think we're gonna see a change in this. If you play with the people like the people will come. Clearly, the people are voting with their eyeballs, and they're saying, "I want to see more."
I want everyone to have a voice. I want
Great that it's a comedic topic that we could all talk about together without taking this side, that side, and making it an argument.
Amen.
He wrote, Cynthia Nixon is a complete joke. I'm all for more women getting involved, but not from someone from the cast of Sex and the City. I can't get images out of my head from her sex scenes on the show. Now, I've heard this from several DBL Nation. Do you think that that footage is going to hurt her?
It's a bummer because I feel
sex is
bad
real
now, and it's not fair of me. That's not fair.
Because
Part of me
she's a
totally
citizen
agrees
too.
with you.
She could be great. She could be amazing.
Like, part of me agrees with you. Like, I want someone that has the experience, but I just thought of this right now. Our founding fathers were not career politicians. They would do 4 years in Washington and go back to being a farmer.
Wow.
So maybe there's something about fresh blood. And this was an opinion I never thought I had until I just thought about it.
Yeah.
And it's also something, if you want your platform to yogurt flavor, I want you to give it to me now and write in Facebook or YouTube. I want to hear your dream yogurt, Sam.
Frozen yogurt or normal yogurt?
And it might not even be invented yet.
Oh, I'm obsessed with the yogurt that I have almost
Okay, what
daily.
is it?
It's coconut yogurt, so it's vegan, dairy-free.
Oh, God.
And
God, that's
it's delicious. You
dentist thing.
Yeah,
What about
sorry.
you?
Oh.
Champagne?
Sorry, guys, I gotta go to the wall.
Okay, champagne flavor. Now, what's your favorite yogurt? You could have anything. Last Live. 50 years later, the battles that outlived Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King.
Joining us is our guest co-host for the week, Erin Elmore. You're going to be here all the way till Friday.
All the way.
You still liking it?
I'm
It's
having
Wednesday.
the best time.
All right, well, good. We're happy to have you.
I'm having a great time, and I love you guys. So happy to be here.
Oh, love.
Okay, I like you strongly.
All right. All right.
Girl, you share a glass of rosé with a girl, and all of a sudden it's love.
That's right. I fall in love very easily. You make it easy, girl.
All right, guys, let's get right to it. Then she killed herself. Her brother says he was worried she might do something dangerous.
You're trying to find a quick fix for a huge problem. And we say gun control, gun control, gun control. Gun control wouldn't have fixed this problem. And why are we trying to throw more power to our government that keeps failing us? In the recent Florida shootings, we had Sheriff Israel, he didn't act. The sheriff at the school didn't act. In the Texas church shootings, that man got a gun legally, but it wasn't really legal because he had a criminal conviction that the military forgot to report.
But that gun would have been illegal if AR-15s are banned.
That's neither here nor there.
No, it's there. Oh, it's
Let me
there.
just finish my point. Okay, it really fine. That guy in Texas.
No, finish your point.
AR-15.
Go ahead, keep going.
There was no AR-15 in Texas, to the best of my knowledge. At any rate, my point is why are we throwing more power to the government when the government failed us in Texas? The government failed us in Florida. You guys want gun control? It's clearly not going to work.
How about not blame the government, but the procedures to get a gun? other countries
Universal background checks.
Right. Other companies have other
I'm not blaming the government. The government failed. They flat out failed.
That's what I'm saying. Why put it in the government's hands? Why not have steps making it harder to obtain that gun? Because other countries have put this into effect, and their gun law,
So I was just reading.
It is?
I just pulled the statistics up last hour.
So what country has
in
more
the
gun violence than
Hold
us?
on. In Great Britain, when guns were outlawed, gun crime and homicide increased drastically that year and continued to increase until 2009.
But you can't. You got to be honest, Kamir. United
I am.
States.
That's honest.
All right. United
He
States
asked
of
me what
America
country. I
has an
answered.
enormous
Asked
amount.
and answered, as we say in the law.
Okay, as we say on TV here, I feel like you're not really answering the question because
I answered it so
let me finish my question. If I'm going to let you speak, let me speak. I honestly feel that everywhere in the world has mental health issues. Everywhere in the world has guns, but they've figured it out. And if that means more government control, which they do in Japan.
Your statistic is 100% dead
Okay,
wrong.
we'll look it up.
I just did last hour. I'm correct.
Okay, let's see your sources.
I just did.
Okay.
I'm the lawyer. I do sources for a living. This is what I do.
Ooh, we still
And we're
have
talking
other
about television,
stories
we're talking about law and
still has to
television.
talk about on Daily Blast Live, a great conversation. Sam, what's coming up on the show?
Does a trip to
Crime Research Prevention Center found that after a gun ban was implemented, there was initially a severe increase in homicide rates, followed by a gradual decline. However, additionally, there was an 89% spike in gun crime in Great Britain from 1998-99 all the way up until 2009. This is pursuant to the Crime Research Prevention Center in Great Britain.
What I would like to know is that could be perfectly. I'm not arguing that fact, but that's not
Apples and unicorns.
That's
Great Britain is
absolutely
That's absolutely not true.
The
That's
foundation of
absolutely
our country is completely different than the foundation of Great Britain. Our
Great
Constitution.
Britain had wars all the time. Rome had the greatest wars.
We left Great Britain.
I know, but you're saying they all have had guns in their foundation.
I'm not arguing at all. Your statistic is probably 100%.
Listen,
right.
I went to
What I'm
law school
saying
because
is-
I can spout off statistics when I'm right to back
Listen,
my...
I'm not arguing with you. This isn't
Yeah.
an argument. I'm not arguing with you.
I
You're
back-
right. I'm telling you, you're
When
right.
you write a legal paper in law school, when you write a legal paper in law school, you need a footnote for every sentence, which means accreditation, meaning proof.
But people-
I know
Okay,
how
but
to have
I'm
proof for
not-
everything that comes out of my
listen,
mouth.
You get
other than my weight,
100%
because
A
it's not going to
plus.
get me
Here's
on
your
scale.
paper. What I'm saying is, well, I got to stop talking.
I am.
Wait,
No,
we
no,
can't
no,
just
no,
say
no,
she's
that's not
right. We
right.
need to look up what source she got it
Yeah.
from.
I just said the source.
Okay, can we have an independent person look this up? That's my question. I'm
What's the
asking a
question?
producer to look this up. America's homicidal deaths with guns as opposed to every other country.
Her question to me was, when Great Britain outlawed guns,
Where
you
are
don't see
we?
this going on
What
in
is
Great
going
Britain.
on?
I said, yes, you do. By ipso facto, my point.
All right, guys, 30 seconds to that.
Oh, you are on. Okay, cool.
Hey, will you read the first question?
Yeah.
Will you read the second question?
Sure. Where are we? Wait, I don't even know where it is.
Single and loving Jesus.
No, you're single and loving
You're
Jesus.
Django.
That's me. I'm single and loving Jesus.
Oh,
God, I got it. Loving Jesus says, I think that he would agree that we came a long way, but definitely still have a lot of work to do. We are living in a culture where we need drastic change and quickly.
Do you agree with that statement or disagree?
Well, it depends on what the change would be. I think that we need to have greater conversations and understanding about race and race relations. I think 50 years is not enough time to really bridge this gap. And I'm learning every day. You know, I said earlier today that I don't see color and I don't see race, but I'm white. And I haven't dealt with racism. And I didn't really think about it until Ebony said that to me earlier in the day. So I'm learning and thinking about this, and these conversations are really helpful, and I want them to continue.
And I hope they are for DBL Nation as well.
Jane,
I didn't mean I haven't thought about what African Americans or any other minority group has gone. I never thought about being faced with racism.
and that's what I'm saying.
To myself.
That's
because
privilege.
but I've thought that you
Right.
have. Then I thought that I understand
Right.
it, but it has never happened to me.
Right, and that's why I'm saying
Sexism
that we have the
has.
privilege of not having to deal with
Understood.
that.
Like when we're pulled over by a cop, I don't have to worry about my life being taken. That's white privilege.
Well, I
I'm not
think
afraid to say that because
That
it
makes
is.
sense.
We got a lot to talk about, obviously. We're going to cover this topic.
That for me, the election of Donald Trump was a real wake-up call, and as it
A question. She saw that Donald Trump was president, so a celebrity could do it. So she thought she's another celebrity. She could do it too. I love how the liberals I can't believe our president is a celebrity. I can't believe, why is a celebrity in office? Now she's running, I call that liberal hypocrisy on wheels.
Where do you get these voices from?
I don't know.
I don't know if that's necessarily the truth because she is running against Andrew Cuomo, who is probably a bigger celebrity. She's running for New York office. So he's a bigger celebrity in New York than I would say Miranda Hobbs would be of Sex and the City,
Sex and the City is pretty big.
Son of Mario Cuomo.
Well, perhaps in certain circles, but the people that watch Sex and the City are the target demographic that people want to get out and vote.
But don't you think, I know, Tori, I want you to come in here real fast, but don't you think now with people being our president, everyone's so upset about our president, half the country, I'm not throwing stones, please don't jump on me. What I'm saying here is, don't you think people, the voters now are like, I'm not voting for them anymore just because I knew them from a TV show or a reality show. Now I'm going to do my due diligence and really see what their policies are.
Well, I think policy is how one should vote, and that's, I mean, we could get into a greater conversation about Hillary Clinton, but let's not, because there are far more interesting things to talk about.
And it's only an hour show.
Truthfully. But, you know, I have a myriad of thoughts on this topic. People say, like Sam earlier said, she wants a career politician that really has been around the block in politics and knows the business and knows how it works. Part of me agreed with that, and then I thought to myself, our founding fathers, our country wasn't founded on the principle of people being in office forever. You know, our founding fathers were all farmers. They would come and do a few years in Washington and go home and back to their normal lives. Now we have this culture of career politicians. Tori's
chomping at the bit here. Come on.
No, one thing is, I wasn't mad that the humanity of that man.
Right.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a celebrity. But there were a lot of people out there that said, we elected a celebrity. That's a new voice for you.
We got to get you on camera, off camera, on camera. You know what I'm saying?
We elected a celebrity, and now here we are potentially electing yet another celebrity.
But
No, I wouldn't
her
go that
name
far.
isn't going to be as
To be super honest with you, I just bought a fanny pack.
More trending stories in our next half hour.
I got an Adidas one that looked
It actually
cool,
landed, Stu.
but I didn't.
Because I'm like, more trending stories on the next half hour. Boom.
Oh yeah,
So it kind
and
of
then I have
like-
this in my ear and this going on.
Today's all over. It's just
So
something
I wanted to read something to you
Yeah.
guys. Tina Fiera from Facebook wrote, my daughter has autism and she went to the Civil Rights Museum this past November. She begged to go and she understood it all.
She's going to jail. Ever since the Florida shooting, you have seen a big uptick in criminal prosecution for these kids. And some people say First Amendment, terroristic threats are an exception to our First Amendment rights. So there's no question.
And when you say that, I just want to be specific. You're saying people under the age of 18, younger
Minors.
children.
So these statutes that generally apply to adults are being applied to children. Now, there are certain factors that matter. Are the kids 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, or are they 16, 17, 18? On that higher range, they're being prosecuted and going to jail.
And she just said the First Amendment, just real quick, you can't yell fire in a crowded theater. It's not protected because it will cause panic. This is going to cause more panic. Therefore, I don't think it's protected.
I have to tell you, just in terms,
And the legal standard has to be, do you understand the nature of what you're saying? And can you understand how the legal process works?
And if you're conscious enough to make that threat, you're conscious enough to go to jail.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, and our own Sam Shocker said earlier, though, she said, the problem is once you get these kids in the system,
It's everywhere.
they're stuck in the system forever because it's very hard to get out. There's not a lot of rehabilitation. So it's sort of, could be compounding the problem.
We don't know, but we have to do something, that's for sure.
Interesting.
We are live. Digital producer Raquel Villanueva has news at the moment.
I finally watched television again.
See, I mean, here's the thing.
well, you made a comment yesterday that you didn't watch
boy.
anything but Fox News. But you seem to know an awful lot about Miranda Hobbs and Sex and the City. So I'm going to have to just point to that little piece
I
right
also
there.
told you I watch Sesame Street and Kids TV too. But otherwise it's Fox News and the Daily Blast, of course.
No, I'm going to take your point.
I like how the sound sounds real. Like when she sang that national anthem. She grabbed her crotch, she spit on the ground. It was a big deal, and now she's made a full turnaround. So some people still have anger about that.
I didn't really realize it was a Republican issue that people were mad about.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. But I think he was saying, that guy just said, I agree with her politics, but I still won't watch because she's so crude.
Right. Well, I mean, she's generally crude, right? That's what they say. But I think, a lot of the times have changed since her. How many years ago did she make that Take Me Out to the Ball Game?
Long time.
Long time, right?
I think it was wasn't it the
was like
Star Spangled Banner?
Oh, sorry, whatever.
Yeah.
I might have been, I know it was at a baseball game.
Do you like Chip and Joanna Gaines?
What?
I'll let you know about it, because last night...
She doesn't watch television. That's right. And Sex and
the city.
Well, our viewers definitely like them. So last night marked the end of an era. It was the final episode of HGTV's
I'm a little disappointed. We're not going to talk about
Michael Jordan.
You know, of course we're going to. I'm just reading the prompter. I also thought about.
Okay,
I
Ron Burgundy.
I always thought about Jay-Z too. He's
Say about the end of the world, guess who's going to be around? Sharon cockroaches.
Oh, well.
sharing cockroaches. I was watching this comedian one time and, I guess, hey, come on. That wasn't even my joke.
Do you know why Frank Sinatra came back? So
What?
he quit. He's like, I just want to play some golf. 2 years later, my golf game still sucked, so I may as well go back to playing
That's
music.
hilarious. Why do you think people come back? Is it because they can't get rid of the spotlight? They need it to come
Yes.
back? Is that why?
I think certain champagne-flavored yogurt.
Ooh.
That's a good one. I also like mint chocolate chip.
Numbers comparing the United States to the United Kingdom, you might have remembered.
Oh, yeah.
All right. According to the USA Today, the UK has an average of 50 to 60 gun homicides every year. In the US here, we have more than 8,000. That means we have about 160 times more killings by a gun in our country, which is only 6 times larger by population than the UK. And there's a lot of factors here, and that's why this is not an easy debate.
Yeah, and our boss came in and was like, it's hard to, don't argue with statistics because you can always find something to argue with.
Yes.
But I think we can all agree we have a problem. We need to do something to fix it.
And it's learning from each other and trying to really have the conversation to see what the right answers are.
Yeah, that's discourse.
I love that. Here at Daily Blast Live, I love that. And we love your viral videos.
Like this furry friend who's cruising through the...
And I are sweating. We're
I'm
doing
sweating to the
well.
oldies.
We know that you get there when you have a nice, good debate, which is awesome to have. We want to thank you guys for chiming in about MLK and about what it means to you. Yeah, my love. Okay, you got it. Sorry, guys, I also have this in my ear. I'm not a crazy person. So hard. Yeah, being on television is real difficult. Tell them what I used to do.
Oh, yeah.
Tell
This
them.
whole story, so Tori would sit there, okay? And then, are you kidding me
I
right
got
now?
the black lung, Dad.
Yes.
I got the
Tori,
black lung.
this is Tori's work for the day.
1:30. Jeff,
This is heavy lifting, people.
1:30.
And then at one point, I had to turn to, and I was like,
1:30.
oh, my hip is a little stretched.
She's going to have to get workers' compensation.
30 seconds.
Workers'
And you'll count
compensation.
it down.
Before this job, remember, I got this job while scooping ice cream, and that was way, way worse than turning my
No wonder you
So
like the
at
mint
like
chocolate chip
20
yogurt.
Oh
seconds
my
to get
God,
out.
my
I
God.
really like ice cream.
Yeah.
You would if you liked
Okay.
salt and straw. It's like the bougie ice cream.
Hey, we got
Exactly.
a minute 30 here, but watch for Stu because we were
We're having such
Amazing.
an honest conversation. We have some comments actually from the audience.
Yeah, some MLK comments. Bob Tavares on YouTube says, I was 3.5 years old when MLK was shot.
Bravo!
A couple more.
Yeah, this is about the kids that don't want to curse. Those kids would not like me. Ben says, imagine if all schools did this. Great job, kids. And
Man, but I just wanted you to, did you hear that comment?
Yeah, the
They
one
said-
time I take my mic.
They said you are making a difference, man. So there is hope, and people out there look to you for that inspiration. Conversations today, MLK is very important. So thank you for all the conversations you guys had with us and with you guys as well. The stories never stop. We don't either, guys. Keep the conversation going.
And thank you for sharing your comments and thoughts on the 50th anniversary of Dr. Martin Luther King's death.